and welcome to National Herald. I am right now joined by Mrs. Shinkai Karokhail, who is Member of Parliament in the Afghanistan Parliament. She's right now in Canada, in Toronto, and it's 5:20 a.m. in India right now, and she's in another time zone. Ma'am, welcome to National Herald. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you for today's meeting. I'm doing fine. Thank you. I'm too early for you. For me, it's okay. I'm at the right time, but I'm sure it's too early for you in India. So
it's an honor to interview you right now. Any time would have been okay. I'm so glad that you could make time for us. I understand what you have gone through in last few days has been life-changing and life-altering. Can you just take us through and help Indians understand what happened on 15th August 2021 and where were you at that point of time?
Well, actually, it was a very important days in Afghanistan history, especially for women of Afghanistan. It was the collapse of Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. Suddenly, within recent few days, army did not want to fight, and just like they left the battle against Taliban and other terrorist group, and they left everything and was taken over by Taliban.
What happened to the leader of the government? What happened? Did you feel safe there? Were you informed by the president what was going to transpire? Were you aware that he was going to leave the country?
Not actually. It was a really terrible shock for everyone because we never ever thought it will be like this to Afghanistan, because we were quite sure that peace process will be successful, and Afghanistan, after like a tiring war and loss of many life of even women, children, civil society activists, people who are not involved in any battle and conflict, we thought through a peaceful peace process, we will go for a proper political settlement to solve our differences through peace process. But the failure of peace process and interference of so many countries, that peace process was not successful. Actually, somehow I can say that they really exclude people of Afghanistan, especially women of Afghanistan, and finally was ended with 15th August, and everything which we were able to achieve and you were not able to preserve it, and suddenly we lost within a few hours.
When you say involvement of many countries, which countries are you exactly talking about, ma'am?
Well, definitely. Unfortunately, there are so many countries they were promoting proxy war due to America's presence in Afghanistan, whether it was Iran, Russia, China, and definitely the very important role Pakistan which played in this battle.
Ma'am, right now you're in.
Every country had their own agenda and their own interests, how to promote conflict instead of promoting peace process in Afghanistan.
Understand. You are also a member of parliament in Afghanistan. What happens to that position? Do you think we're hearing very contradictory statements that Taliban is also welcoming women to be part of the government? Then they're hearing that they are not. They have stopped education of a girl child. What is exactly happening?
I think the Taliban are very much confused, first, or maybe they did not change at all, or maybe they advised very wrongly. Instead of going for a a real inclusive government. They try to ignore the minorities and also half of the population, which are women of Afghanistan. Just few hours back, I was listening to the interview of Dr. Naeem Wadag, and he was telling, well, it's not necessary the woman should be in a cabinet. There are so many countries which they don't have women as a minister, but he never ever understand this is the rights of women, that to be included as a human being, as an equal human being, as an equal citizen of Afghanistan. They not only women will work for women's issue and women's right, or empowering women, or the policy which really support women of Afghanistan, but also women have this capacity and capability, and also commitment to take Afghanistan forward, to work towards Afghanistan development. So it's a pity that he thinks that we can only work as a woman for women's issue. And of course, women can better understand women's issue, what's going on with a woman, as the way we cannot understand fully what's the really need of Afghan man or the generally man. But how this gentleman could claim that he will work for women of Afghanistan? So I don't know how he could put himself in our shoe to really realize and understand. Excluding women of Afghanistan once again after 20 years, while women was in a cabinet member, while women was a member of parliament, women was in a judiciary system, women was a part of the media, the civil society, the private sector. How you can tell there is no need for you because you cannot change any change to the life of women of Afghanistan? You have to be excluded because there is no need for you, because this is not appropriate society for you to work. What about the rest of the world? If Pakistan, a woman could reach to the highest executive power, which is the position of prime minister, but in Afghanistan, woman could not be a member of the cabinet. So it's a very strange justification, and hopefully they realize once again their historical mistake, that women are equal citizens of this country. This is her right to be included in a system, to be considered as an equal human being in Islamic society of Afghanistan, and she could work generally for Afghanistan and specifically for women's issues. So it seems that this mentality not exists, and to ignore or exclude half of the population, they will lose the support of half of the population. And of course, the other half will also support women's right issue, and they're concerned about women. In Afghanistan, there are so many women, they are the breadwinner of the family. You stop them not to work, how she could feed now the family? Hopefully they understand the reality of the current society. So who's going to pay monthly to support financially those families while mother or sister or daughter were working for the entire family? So it's a strange understanding, and without consulting with women of Afghanistan, how they could decide for women of Afghanistan. So it seems that making different excuses that, well, they will announce, or they make a plan how a woman or girl can go to school. How you can facilitate boys' school but not the girls' school? What's wrong? Why women are not secure, or why this environment is not available? If you are worried about this women's harassment or girls' harassment, you can stop few this men or boys after the girls. But how you can stop like 4 or 5 million of girls which are eligible to go to higher education or school? So does not make any sense. I don't know where this Taliban exists. Why do not read more about this about Islamic rights? In Islam, seek knowledge is compulsory. It's not optional. So this is compulsory. The men and women should seek knowledge and study. So hopefully they think as a Muslim man, not as a Afghan man, which maybe have an anti-woman mentality.
And because you work for women, and clearly you have very strong opinion about women rights and girl child rights, you must have been in danger, and that's why you were also evacuated from there. Can you tell us what was that process?
Well, of course, because throughout this many years, I was always targeted, and many times I was forced to leave the country just temporarily for a few months, because just to survive. And I got always reports and information from our intelligence or from our police that you will be targeted. So that's why I always left the country. So after collapse of the government, you may know who wants to do what against you. Because being the member of parliament for 16 years, each time I won the election, sometimes you were those who lost in election and you win. So because it was like a dishonor for them, and they had some sort of grudge. Maybe this is the day they want to take a revenge, and they might use the address of the Taliban. Or like we know that there's so many assassination happened from the cross border. We know there is multi-group made unfortunately by the intelligence of Pakistan. They targeted those who they thought they might not be able to get them and to buy them or somehow bribe them. They most of this assassination, I'm sure, there was cross-border agenda. So because you do not realize what will happen, who will target you, so it's preferred to be out of Afghanistan until you realize you will be safe enough and you can work back, that will return. So that's why I prefer to leave the country. And unfortunately, I got this chance that was offered to leave, and I was assessed to leave. I left within 2 days, and 2 days at the airport. Finally, I came this part of the world. So of course, it was not a very pleasant to flee the country. And it was with a pain and very unpleasant trip to leave the country, because I want to serve my people. I want to serve my country, and I want to see Afghanistan as developing. I want to see equal opportunity for women of Afghanistan. Why we should always make something and then lose suddenly everything? It's not easy to accept, and it's not a pleasant change, but a change which I'm sure most of the people of Afghanistan doesn't want, because maybe different changes will come in different countries, and maybe different political group will take over, but doesn't mean that to ruin everything and start from scratch, or especially excluding women and children from even access to education. It's not right, and it's not justice with the women and children of Afghanistan.
And you've also been saying that it's also anti-Islam to suppress women, to not give them their rights, while a lot of people in West may understand that this is what that may think that Islamic countries are repressive, they suppress women's rights. But you are saying that actually, according to Islam, knowledge is compulsory. And
well,
if Taliban understood...
Not only knowledge is compulsory in Islam, women can work. And even the Prophet, peace be upon him, his wife was a very famous businesswoman, which Prophet Muhammad was working for him. Or like in the time of Hazrat Umar, which was the second person after Prophet was ruling the Islamic world. A woman was the mayor of the city of that time. If he could appoint a woman of that time to be a mayor of the city, like a 14th century back, why today's woman of Afghanistan can't be the mayor of the city or the member of the cabinet? I think it's all like a political Islam. So the Islam, which Haqqaniya Madrasa is teaching the men of Afghanistan, and then send them to Afghanistan. So the type of Islam they want for Afghanistan, they know that to educated mother will present educated generation. So uneducated or illiterate woman could not present literate generation. So now, of course, how to manipulate everything, including Islam, and use them against Afghanistan, this is what Pakistan's intelligence know very well. So that's why they try to marginalize women of Afghanistan. They try to suppress women of Afghanistan. They try to, deprive women of Afghanistan from education. So the type of generation they could present could be easily used against Afghanistan's stability, and the type of Islam they want will be implemented in Afghanistan. So why there is a secular government in Pakistan, but they want the type of Sharia they want back in Afghanistan? This is not the true and the real Islam we are expecting.
So you're holding Pakistan actually responsible very strongly for what has happened in Afghanistan. Do you also hold any of the Western countries responsible for what has happened? And how has last 20 years been in Afghanistan?
Well, of course, other countries like a Western country, including America, should be responsible for that. Because women of Afghanistan especially always try to convince the international community that stand with the people of Afghanistan and listen to the people, especially women of Afghanistan. We wanted an inclusive peace process. We want the people of Afghanistan, men and women, young or youth of Afghanistan, to speak for their future. And we want them to facilitate, because they left everything in the hand of Zalmay Khalilzad, might have their personal agenda, including the Pakistan, Bajwa, or others, to decide how to work with the Taliban. And while they were like signing an agreement with the Taliban, they just ignored the government of Afghanistan and also the people of Afghanistan. And without our acknowledgement, and everything happened on behalf of us. So it means like this war was not ours. Of course, this peace process was not ours. So this is why I end up with what? So Pakistan, unfortunately, as I want to say that it will stay as a record that the way they used or support Taliban against Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, I'm sure they will use other like ISIS or other against Taliban as well. They are not Taliban lover, or they are not the true friend of, but why they should like support Taliban? What is the relation or the common understanding between them? They like them until they used against Afghanistan or facilitate them or help them. But if today Taliban did not listen to them, definitely they will use ISIS or other against Taliban as well. Because for them, the central government of Afghanistan is important. If they think it is against Pakistan interests, definitely they will find another group to how to weaken or like threatening the central government of Afghanistan. Whether it's Taliban or non-Taliban, it doesn't matter. Because at the end, Taliban also Afghan. If Taliban start to work for the best interests of Afghanistan, definitely they won't be able to stay long.
Thank you for giving so much time, ma'am. And I know that I had promised you that I will finish this in 15 minutes. But one last question. How do you see your future? What do you think is Afghanistan's future from here? And what do you want the international community to do for Afghanistan right now?
Well, hopefully international community do not forget Afghanistan or ignore Afghanistan, especially hopefully they continue to support or send their humanitarian aid. It's really needed a lot, because Afghanistan not only suffered because of the imposed war on us, also because of the drought many years, especially this year, and also the COVID really affect our economy so badly. You asked me about what I'm thinking and what will be the future of Afghanistan. I think at the moment, if Taliban do not bring any serious changes in their policy and their attitude, and do not get the support of people of Afghanistan and also the trust of international community, I think they will badly suffer, and they will make Afghanistan suffer too. So this is one case, and don't think they will last long. The other thing, if the international community really pressurize those who are wrongly advising Afghanistan, especially Pakistan, stop to interfere anymore in Afghanistan, and work with the Taliban and make them understand to make such a government which everybody see themselves, and that government, including women of Afghanistan, reopen their school and high school and university for women of Afghanistan, give a rights to women to work, especially their political and economic rights shouldn't be violated by the Taliban. I think it will go towards improvement in Afghanistan. Hopefully, do understand and do not listen to the advice of Qureshi, the foreign affairs minister, or the intelligence and the army of Pakistan, because they are not the best friend or supporter of even Taliban at this moment. And also, we know what their hidden agenda is.
What is the hidden agenda?
Well, of course, the hidden agenda which they have regarding Afghanistan, which is our border issue, our good relation with India, maybe our natural resources issue, or maybe they want Afghanistan as the consumer of their product. But if there are so many hidden agenda they're worried about their own unity and stability, and they're worried about their own national security. But by supporting or promoting terrorism, they won't help themselves either. Maybe temporarily they are supporting, but in the long term, I think they will badly lose. And this kind of government they want to bring it in Afghanistan, they will face those challenges soon or later.
I have one last question, ma'am, and then I will definitely end this interview. Do you feel, as a woman of Afghanistan, as a member of parliament, as somebody who has worked on human rights, you've been an ambassador of Afghanistan in Canada, do you feel that the international community, be it Russia, be it America, be it, of course, you've blamed Pakistan substantially, do you think all of them have treated Afghanistan for their interest very badly? And Afghanistan's people have really, really suffered in last 20 years and more, and have not had the time to breathe and live a normal life for a long, long time. Do you feel frustrated and angry about it?
Well, international community definitely use Afghanistan for their interests. They were not there to help us. They were there to help themselves and put us in the front line in a mission counter terrorism. But this counter-terrorism mission made us so much vulnerable. This was the best chance, went back to the hand of Pakistan madrasas, religious leader, and the ISI, how to be used and how to declare jihad against the government of Afghanistan. And we lost more than 100,000 from security and defense sector, beside the civilian. So we paid a huge price. But this kind of exit from Afghanistan, withdraw from Afghanistan, I think Western countries, especially America, won't be safe anymore, because if they think Biden or and their security sector think they killed Osama, they forget that many multi-terrorist groups were created with the same mentality, and the mission sooner or later will target them once again. So, because they never listened, that because Pakistan the state which produced the tourism, how this tourism and extremist group, they could easily and freely use against India and Afghanistan. So this kind of production will cost everyone a lot. Definitely, we are the first victim of this production. So you can see, but by this kind of laws, I think it motivates so many other groups to continue to resist and fight and promote their agenda where they think this is right. So I think international community did not really very well treated us, and they never ever think to also consider our interests as equal as their interests as well. They used us, but definitely for that, they spend their money, they also give some sacrifice, but not to that level which we would sacrifice for their mandate and their mission.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. We were speaking to Ms. Shinkai Karokhail, Member of Parliament, Afghanistan. Thank you very much for making time for us, ma'am. And we wish you the best. We hope you stay safe. And when everything is safe, you go back home safely and fight for your rights once again. Thank you for speaking to National Herald. Thank you.